Claims circulating online suggest that 50 Cent has released footage showing Diddy appearing scared and shaken in prison, which has quickly gone viral across social media. Earlier narratives have portrayed Diddy as being comfortable in custody, with some rumors even claiming he was drinking wine or mentoring inmates in business. However, newer online reports now allege a shift in that image, suggesting he may be facing threats from individuals inside prison for unexpected reasons. Some posts have even gone further, speculating that he could be in danger from Tupac's people, although these claims remain unverified and are being widely shared without credible evidence.
This guy's life might be danger over here because people think that he has something to do with Pac, people think he has something to do with Biggie, and they right here in Brooklyn. You understand? It's right here in Brooklyn, and some of the people are still mad that he made Making It a Band walk to Brooklyn from, to get the cheesecake, and he's around the corner from the Cheesecake Factory. So, Junior's. So it might be some dumb shit. So y'all need to get him out of here and ship him to Jersey because somebody gonna kill him over here. Those are good arguments, if you want to call it, but it's bullshit. He gonna get the same treatment no matter how much money he got.
For years, the deaths of Tupac Shakur and Christopher, the Notorious B.I.G. Wallace, have remained one of hip-hop's most painful and unresolved chapters. Over time, Sean Diddy Combs has consistently and firmly denied any involvement in either case, maintaining that he had nothing to do with their deaths. Interview: Tupac Shakur was shot in a drive-by in Las Vegas on September 7, 1996, and died 6 days later at the age of 25, and just 6 months after that, the Notorious B.I.G. was also killed in a similar drive-by shooting in Los Angeles on March 9, 1997, marking the loss of two major hip-hop icons during the height of the East Coast-West Coast rivalry, a period defined by intense competition, loyalty, and tension within the rap industry. Sean Diddy Combs, as Biggie's close friend, producer, and head of Bad Boy Records, was closely tied to the East Coast scene, and over the years his name has occasionally surfaced in discussions and theories about both deaths, with later documentaries such as Sean Combs: The Reckoning revisiting those long-standing conversations and including claims from some participants suggesting possible involvement, while others, including Bad Boy co-founder Kirk Burrow, have spoken about the deep tensions of that era, which were further fueled by the 1994 Quad Studios shooting in New York, where Tupac was robbed and shot multiple times while visiting to record a verse, an incident that left him deeply distrustful of those around him and intensified the conflict that would later define one of hip-hop's most turbulent periods.
Puffy was involved in the shooting?
Only they can answer that question. I have my own opinion, but I wouldn't slander their name like they did mine. I wouldn't say things that I knew, you know what I mean? I believe so. I do believe so. I have proved things that I can say that will back up my claim, but this is not for the world to know about. You know what I mean? It's between me and him, and only he knows. So every time he say it didn't happen, or that's the only thing that makes this become an issue to everybody. Because you see what I said in the Vibe article. I basically bowed out and was going to go ahead about my life. The next issue, that wasn't even the next issue, because them cowards waited about 4 issues before they got their story together. 4 issues later, half of New Yorkers commenting on me getting shot. And before, they was all like, we didn't see nothing. In the first issue, we did, Vibe viewers. Nobody seen shit. The 4th issue, when they came back with a reply, everybody knew what I did. They knew what I said. I was acting. Who gets shot 5 times in acts? Oh, I didn't get shot 5 times in their vision. I only got shot once because they found the bullet. The police found it, but now they the cops. Now they doing detective work. They found the bullet. Oh, you found the bullet, huh? So what is this other shit in me then? What was the doctors talking about? What? Can you explain these other holes in me? How did I get gunpowder all over me? That insulted my intelligence. So yes, I did say Thug Life was dead. Yes, I bowed out, all of that. But when they said that, they breathed.
The Quad Studios shooting remains officially unsolved, but Gene Deal has made claims suggesting a deeper backstory behind the incident, alleging that Sean Diddy Combs may have had prior knowledge of what was going to happen to Tupac and chose not to intervene. According to Deal's version of events, the documentary on 50 Cent touched on the shooting but left out what he considers a key detail involving meetings on the same day, where he claims Diddy, Andrew Harrell, and Jimmy Henchman were together in Jimmy's office, while others like Biggie and Suge Knight were not present. Deal further alleges that Diddy was there in connection with monitoring Biggie's work and publishing situation, and not simply for business reasons. And he also claims that during that time, Jimmy Henchman informed Diddy that Tupac was going to be taught a lesson over a disputed financial issue. These statements remain personal allegations from Gene Deal and have not been confirmed by any official investigation or legal findings.
In an interview being at the spy on Big, Jimmy Henchman told him that they finna teach Pac a lesson. Because Pac had owed him some money. So that's why he was up in the studio and was coming to the studio. Pac owed him some money. He was gonna work it off and get some money from doing a song with Lil Sean. And that's what that was about. But Pac was talking greasy to Jimmy Henchman, and Jimmy Henchman wasn't the type of dude that you talk greasy to. Allegedly. Unless you 50 Cent.
So Diddy knew what was going to happen to Pac.
He knew Pac was about to deal well, yeah. He was there to see it. He was there to see it. He wasn't only there to see Big them when Jimmy Henchman told him that. He was there to see what's going to happen to Pac. He was there for that. Because had he not been there for that, he would have went up there in the office. He would have went to the studio or the studio session with Big them. He would have went to that studio session with Big them. He knew what room Big them was in. He didn't do that. He was there to see what was going to happen to Pac after Jimmy told him. And that's factual.
Yeah, Kirk Burroughs, he also said that, he feels like, Diddy was behind Pac murder.
Yeah. If Diddy played a part in that stuff, like he said, Kirk know where the money came from. I'ma say this. They tried to, if you talk about the Vegas trip and the whole 9 yards, Kirk said that he paid for people to drive out to Vegas. You know what I'm saying? He said he paid for people to drive out of Vegas. I was heavily with Bad Boy at that time. I don't remember that part of it. You understand? I don't remember that part of it. But if Kirk knew and he was paying for people to drive out to Vegas in the whole 9 yards, it's hard to hide $1 million, brother. You ain't going to cash that in the check cashing place. You signing it over to somebody. I said 1,000 times, and I'll say it 1,000 times again. Eric Von Zip showed me and my man Boondang, aka my man Slick, a check for $1 million. We don't know, and everybody trying to say, lying, talking about half of it got paid, 500. I don't know. I know when I asked him about, we asked him, do we ask? No, we didn't ask him. I know when he showed us a check and he walked away after he showed us the check for the $1 million, you understand?
The people involved are gone now, but the money and paper trails remain. And according to Gene Deal, those records, transactions, documents, and financial traces are where answers could still potentially be found if the truth ever fully comes out. Nearly 2 years after earlier events, the Las Vegas shooting that killed Tupac Shakur remained unsolved for decades, fueling widespread speculation and theories across hip-hop culture until a major development in September 2023, when Dwayne Keefe D. Davis was arrested and charged in connection with the murder. Later, in a 2024 court filing, prosecutors referenced a previously undisclosed 2009 police interview in which Davis allegedly described his involvement and also made claims involving Sean Diddy Combs, suggesting Diddy was angry over Tupac's public insults. Additional reports have also pointed to an earlier interview where Davis allegedly claimed Diddy expressed a desire to remove certain individuals and offered money in relation to the situation. Though these statements remain allegations presented in legal and investigative contexts and are not established facts proven in court.
Diddy's claim was an informant in 1997 who told investigators that Puffy had hired the Southside Crips to kill both Suge and Tupac, and that the Crip who was jumped at the MGM was in the group that had done the hit, and that they originally were going to do it at Suge's Vegas nightclub, but then decided to do it right away instead of waiting. This was exactly the same story that Keefe D told us a decade later. Very few people know that immediately after Tupac is shot and that white Cadillac is fleeing, one of the death row entourage, a guy named Alton McDonald, known as Buntree, chases after the Cadillac, and a second shooting takes place between the two vehicles. Alton McDonald's car is struck. In fact, within the Las Vegas files, there's a document that indicates that Alton McDonald's car had been struck by a bullet that night.
Yeah, he even said that, like, in retrospect, that was probably the best thing that could have ever happened to Puffy. By Zip stealing the money, now Puffy isn't connected to that shit. Or else it would have been like a hire or something, you know what I'm saying?
The FBI said it was just Zip.
So the FBI told you the same thing?
He was a dirty motherfucker.
So the FBI told you that Zip kept that money as well?
They said Zip's a dirty motherfucker. Everybody crossed you. You the last one to know every fucking thing. Even lawyers, your friends, everybody can cross you.
Diddy has denied all allegations, and in July 2024, the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department stated that Sean Diddy Combs has never been considered a suspect in the investigation into Tupac Shakur's homicide, nor has he ever been charged in connection with the case, while Dwayne Keefe D. Davis has pleaded not guilty and remains in custody as his trial continues to face delays. Following Tupac's death, accounts from some individuals close to the situation claimed that tensions remained high and that Diddy and others from the East Coast were reportedly warned against traveling to the West Coast. Yet he still moved forward with promotional plans for the Notorious Big's upcoming album, despite claims from Bad Boy co-founder Kirk Burrow and Sean Combs. The reckoning suggesting that Biggie himself was hesitant about going, but was encouraged to proceed.
I seen an interview that Puffy did with Fat Joe where he was talking about Biggie in his last moments in LA. And he told Fat Joe that he didn't want to go to LA. He actually wanted to go to London. But Biggie, he was the one that wanted to go to LA. And he was the one that was pushing to go to LA.
That's not true. My name is Kirk Burrows. I ran Bad Boy Entertainment. I helped co-found it. I created the company with him. I raised from general manager to president. And at that time, I put all of those business plans together. And Biggie didn't want to go to LA, ended up going. What got him out there was a week ahead of time to ease him into the whole award show. He may not have wanted to go to London, but was talked into it. First time ever a rapper of your stature getting this treatment, that would be something he would be interested in doing, but he was easily talked out of it by Sean so that they can make an appearance at an event in LA that Saturday night, a part of the posturing of not only did we come to the award show, not only am I recording my album out here, and Big is gonna help me with some of the writing and maybe do something out here where me and him did this song in LA, I'm out on the town. And it was just too much.
This is something Gene Deal has also referenced, claiming that Clark Kent, who was close to Biggie and active in the industry, once questioned why Biggie was out that night, since he was reportedly meant to be traveling rather than attending events. According to this account, when Clark Kent asked about the plan to go to the Peterson Automotive Museum, Biggie allegedly said it had been arranged by Puff Daddy and another individual. Gene Deal has stated that he only became aware of this detail years later after it was mentioned publicly by Clark Kent.
They wasn't going out to no party, no clubs. There was no we. It was no we out there. Big had a security, Paul offered, Reggie Bullock. Puff had. Not without Big, they don't have no budget. How about that?
My perceptions have changed slightly, gradually over time. Today, I look at Diddy through a different lens than I might have 10, 15 years ago. There were obviously some early red flags, but it's a complicated thing because we have to be very careful about falsely accusing people or even, making accusations based on nothing more than speculation. And we just haven't seen all the evidence. So I prefer to kind of withhold judgment on some things. I can tell you regarding Diddy back when Tupac, Shakur, and Biggie Smalls were murdered. He wasn't exactly cooperative. He didn't do what you would assume a friend or, a manager, so to speak, would do. So from a law enforcement perspective, he was very unhelpful in an area where he ought to have been contributing towards getting some type of justice in those two murder cases. But as we found out in time, he was complicit in one of them, and which would make sense why maybe he didn't cooperate in the other, because the two were, they were just, we always understood that they were somehow interconnected. And so if you're going to cooperate or provide information on one and you're culpable in the other, one thing could lead back to the next. And that's where I think he understood his own vulnerability.
Witness accounts in the Biggie case have described the shooter as a black man wearing a blue suit or tuxedo with a bow tie. And despite extensive investigations, no one has ever been arrested or charged in connection with the murder. Decades later, both the deaths of Tupac Shakur and the Notorious Big remain officially unresolved, and Sean Diddy Combs has not faced any charges related to either case. Meanwhile, some online discussions suggest new alleged connections are being drawn, though these remain unproven. According to Kirkborough, tensions in the industry were already present before Tupac's arrival at Quad Studios, with trust and rivalries running deep, and he has stated that the shooting inside the building intensified the divide between the camps, after which relations between them changed significantly.
Coming in, he was friendly with Big, he saw Little Sean, people like that. They wanted him to come and do a record. That was what was set up at Quad. Biggie, knowing Little Sean, they were all there, C's, all of them. It was just going to be a fun night at the studio. Pac showed up, he saw them looking down from the window, his new friends were there, an incident happened in the elevator. It might have been a scary thing, like this to send a message. Tupac standing his own ground, just didn't leave it at that. He ended up getting hit, getting shot, the elevator went up. Our people were shocked to see him in that state. He was shocked to see our people looking at him shocked. He thought that they knew something about it. He thought if he was in New York and he was with all the rappers from the East, they must have known what was going to happen. It had to be in the wind. And situations aren't laid out like that. And it was the furthest thing from the truth, but he held that to his heart. And then he went away. A few other things happened, got better, got repaired, went away, went to jail on a rape charge. Once that came down on him, it looked as if the East Coast must have been the worst thing and the worst place for him to have come to. And it looks as if the friends that he had just turned their backs on him. Suge stepped in. And when Suge stepped in, he signed him. He signed him to a napkin at Clinton. And that letter that he sent through Wendy Day, she was definitely a person that was connected and a mediator between most everyone in the hip hop game and had been for a minute, legendary person. She delivered the letter to my office. It started with West Side Up. So it gave an indication of rumblings that we heard in the street with him being shined by Suge, which is definitely true. He's going to go west when he comes back, and he has an issue with us.
According to Kirkborough's account, Tupac reportedly warned him that the situation had gone beyond music, describing it as something much more serious. He claimed the message reflected Tupac's belief that tensions had escalated into a personal conflict involving Sean Diddy Combs, and the Notorious Big Burrow says that in Tupac's perspective, the Quad Studios incident was a turning point that changed everything and left no room for confusion about how he viewed the situation moving forward.
A woman by the name of Wendy Day, very important woman in the hip-hop world. I think she helped Baby and those guys with Cash Money label, setting that up. She's very influential. and instrumental in a lot of success. When I started in the music business, I reached out to her. She had a company called Rap Coalition. She went back and helped rappers from a previous generation get their money straight, their royalties. With that being said, I was like, she's someone I want to know. In knowing her, I had the good fortune of when she was dealing with Tupac during his crises on the East Coast, she went to visit him at Clinton. He wrote a letter, drafted it, so that she can bring it to me at the office so that I could know and be able to relate to Sean where we were with him. And the letter, if I remember, it said, West Side Up. And what we had heard was rumblings that Suge came and signed him on a napkin to a contract, and he was going to go west, and all this stuff had happened to him on the East and made it look like people on the East, King or the biggest rappers on the East, or people that he knew should have warned him or protected him against what had happened. And it just is not geographically laid out like that. And a lot of people caught some blame for things that they had nothing to do with. And he took offense, went west, and that started him as a mouthpiece against the East, all right, going at Biggie. And I think it's more than, that's one level of the beef. Then I think there's another level of things that were going on in the streets where things happened in the dividing line between East and West that caused a big rift that led to mouthpieces going at each other.
From Kirk Burroughs' perspective, that moment marked the point where the conflict began to spiral out of control long before the violence that later shocked the world. On the other hand, Chopper has expressed the belief that Sean Diddy Combs was likely involved in Tupac Shakur's death, pointing to what he describes as deep personal animosity as part of his reasoning. However, these remain personal opinions and allegations rather than proven facts established through any official investigation or court ruling.
Comment you made about how when you would bring up Pac name around Diddy, he'll get mad.
Yes. He had every bit of it. I remember one time, he was like, who did you grow up listening to? I'm like, Tupac. I ain't mentioned Biggie. That nigga ain't even talk to me for like 4 days after that. Everything with Pac, like, you couldn't say Pac was anything better than Biggie. You can't put them in the same realm or nothing. It was all about Biggie. Nick, I ain't know no fucking, it was all a dream whole song. I knew a couple words, the first verse maybe, but he made us recite the whole fucking thing. I guess, I don't know. He made us recite that whole fucking thing. And I don't think that Biggie would have gave a if a nigga would have killed about reciting his whole shit. You dig? Like, cause I grew up listening to Biggie too, and I felt Pac different.
Now the claim being made online is that 50 Cent is allegedly leaking various pieces of footage to outlets like TMZ and other media aggregators. However, this remains unverified speculation circulating on social media rather than confirmed reporting from credible sources. At the same time, Gene Deal's perspective suggests that Sean Diddy Combs may be inclined to respond strongly to public criticism or accusations, but this also reflects personal opinion and interpretation rather than any confirmed action or documented plan of retaliation.
For this situation, I think the real reason why they ain't gonna let Puffy out is because they trying to connect that Keith D situation with Puffy. That's what I really think it is, because if it came down to some significant foolishness and all that, there are a buku trumped up charges they couldn't prove. I don't think they got no evidence. I think they trying to keep him in there to lock in that Keith D. You hear me? That Keith D situation with Puff. I think that's the only reason why he's still in jail right now. They know Puff is not a dangerous person on the outside. They know if they let him out right now, he's gonna be on house arrest. He's gonna be a good boy. He run and do all church videos and whatever. They know that already. That's not what they aiming for. They don't care about none of that. What they care about is they trying to connect Keith D with Biggie. I mean, with Tupac and Diddy. I'm telling you, that's what I feel. I never thought I would have said that, but I'm an intelligent man, bro. And ain't no other way they gonna keep you in there of, oh, yeah, oh, Diddy did this to me. Oh, Diddy did that to me. I'm suing him. Oh, we got enough evidence to. No, you don't. That's accusations. That's not actual factual, brother. You did. So I feel like the actual factual thing that they really trying to aim for is the key for D. That's the only thing that they can really lock him in with. All the rest of that shit gonna get chumped down when it come down to it. Diddy gonna plead, and that shit be over with. But they going that rabbit in the hole is gonna be that key for D situation. I'm telling you, mark my words. Watch. That's why they ain't gonna let him out. They would have let Key 50 out on that bail. Vegas got a little thing. They'll let you out on bail, but they got little restrictions of how you can get out. You dig? So they gonna make sure your ass can't get out of jail. Trust me. So that's the only way I see that. Cause the feds play a different.
We need people to put people out here that's doing shit like this. That's taking from people's families. That's beating women. That's drugging women. I ain't got a problem with it. Let's go to war. Bruh, first of all, they're gonna try to get his baby mama stories. You know, they're gonna try to get 50 baby mama stories. They're gonna try to get girls that he probably dated, that he had problems and issues with and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna try to do the same thing they probably did to R. Kelly or Puff or whatever like that, and people tell their stories. You understand? But, you know, they trying to retaliate on what he did. Let him go ahead, bruh. Because I think he ready for it. You don't do this and you don't do the stuff that he did or sign on to the stuff that he did with Puff. Unless you got your in order. Don't throw no stone if you live in a glass house. Don't throw no stone if you live in a glass house. I believe 50 ready for it. If they come at him any kind of way. I heard that Diddy is trying to sue Netflix for $1 billion. Ain't nothing came up in court. That's just talk, bro. No paperwork has been put in and signed into that. They're gonna have to have a reason. If they were suing him and he had enough reason, why they didn't cease and desist the thing? Huh? If he had a leg to stand on, why they didn't cease and desist the documentary? They're just people talking. Headline news. Because had it been filed in court and they had a leg to stand on, they'd have been bringing that stuff down. Oh, we can't show it no more.
Do you think we'll ever see Diddy convicted for Pac's murder? Let us know in the comments.
Do you think we will ever see Diddy convicted in connection with Tupac Shakur's murder? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below.